Watch this guy, Pac-Man. He's good. Pac-Man. He's Pac-Man.
I have no words for David Pakman. David Pakman does not have a soul. He doesn't have a soul.
Pac-Man never talked to the New World Order. Pac-Man never tried to get hired by the Kissinger Group because Pac-Man's a loser.
Okay. You got a massive YouTube channel. You got billions of views online.
One awful progressive talk show host.
Hello, David. Here we go. We're live. I enjoy your show. I really do.
David Pakman, a left-wing progressive political commentator.
If I was telling my children who not to be, it's that guy. He's a disgrace.
David, you are like dripping with the viscosity of sanctimony.
Look at those eyes, man. That dude is gone, ladies and gentlemen.
And I will send you some pillows here. But I'd like you to try them out. And you need to sleep better, David. You have the same energy I do.
Okay, so why do I watch David Pakman? I like this guy. That's all my point is. He's dealing in facts, and I like him.
Then he went, Donald Trump, yeah, Donald Trump. I love Donald Trump, but no more drop box. The drop boxes are just so bad. No more drop boxes. Dickinson, Hologic, and Cephahide. That was about a guy named, a rhino named Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney. Real beauty. Had to give the American people their voice back by building something called Truth Central. He voted against Kate's law, and he voted for Obama amnesty. You know, we've endorsed Dr. Oz. We've endorsed JP, right? J.D. Mandel, and he's doing great. I've had more investigations than Jesse James, Billy the Kid. Some of the world's greatest cricket players, from Sachin Tendulkar to Virat Kohli. As the great religious teacher Swami Vivekananda once said. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation, the beginnings of that investigation. And God bless the United States. Thank you very much. He was awarded the Bronze Star and the Combat Infantryman Badge for his service. We have to keep our country great, but it's not, for some reason, it's just not great anymore. If you care about law and order, look, law and order. In normal times, roughly 40% of fresh vegetables and about 40% China. Nambia's health system is increasingly self-sufficient. This is not about virtue, cycling, and signing. And the great General and President Ulysses S. Grant, he's really come back a long way over the last 10 years, hasn't he? We appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. When they gaze upon Yosemites, towering sequoias, they delivered a swift and sweeping, sweeping. It was swift and it was sweeping like nobody's ever seen anything happen. Units of plasma for plasma. Donate plasma. In the failing New York Times by an anonymous, gutless coward. I may ask Marilyn Lockheed, the leading woman's business. No teacher should ever be allowed to teach transgender to our children without parental consent. No. Nobody has to have parental consent, and we will totally oppose the Biden administration. This administration. He made some statements, rough statements, on Jewish. You heard them and you know them well.
Welcome, everybody. So good to see you. It is debate night in America, and you're watching the David Pakman Show on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. Still, after all these years, not funded by Russian influencer cash, if you can believe it. This debate will be kicking off in about an hour and 20 minutes. The debate is taking place in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We're on the ground there following the Washington Post's feed of what's taking place. It's getting a little bit rambunctious, for lack of a better term, there. We are monitoring ABC News for the start of their official stream, which will come at the top of the hour. NBC News is interviewing Vivek Ramaswamy, and we're also keeping an eye on a feed from PBS News. So it is going to be quite an evening. Let's briefly listen to what Vivek is saying.
They want to have that conversation. You're somebody who speaks very frankly, right? You let people know exactly where you stand on issues. But when it comes to abortion rights, the 6-week ban in Florida, if you're a Republican voter, it's been a little confusing. Former President Trump has sort of been a little bit all over the place. Do you think he's been able to sort of telegraph, dictate his policy directly about where he stands on abortion? Because even some conservatives have been confused.
So, look, I think that President Trump has been crystal clear about one policy throughout, dating back to the primary. And
Wrong.
I say this, I ran against him in the primary. I know he was very clear about this then, as I was as well. He is against, and I share this position, he is against a federal ban on abortion. This is an issue for the states. Conservatives have long favored overturning Roe versus Wade.
Yeah. Vivek is lying. Trump most recently, through J.D. Vance, said he would be against a federal ban. But he previously said, oh, I'd consider that.
In fact, that Kamala Harris has expressly stated, not once, but numerous times, that Donald Trump is in favor of signing a federal abortion ban. He's never said so.
Right.
To the contrary, he's actually taken a lot of criticisms from Republicans for that position. That's sort of the
Vivek's just a horrible, absolutely horrible liar. In other pre-debate shamelessness, here is Marco Rubio talking, attempting to use language to communicate.
That doesn't mean fraud. That means they didn't follow the law, and that undermines public confidence and opens the door in a close election for a losing side to point to those things and undermine public confidence in the elections. That's why it's so important that elections be done in a way in which the laws are followed transparently and clearly.
Still ahead. Thank you so much, Senator Marco Rubio. Really,
Marco Rubio still on the voter fraud train, apparently. Is where he is on this entire thing, which is really something, really something. So listen, let's kind of set the stage for what we're going to expect tonight. I see super chats coming in. Just Jamie says, thank you for all you do, David. I look forward to your show every day. Camus says, Obama. Common Girl asks, who else is nervous after the last debate? Yeah, so let's kind of set the stage and see where we are. First and foremost, where is the polling nationally as we enter this debate? As we enter this debate, which will probably be the only debate between Trump and Kamala Harris. I mean, listen, we have 7 weeks left until the election. Nothing else is scheduled. I can't imagine another debate between Trump and Harris will be scheduled for between now and October 1st, which is the date of the VP debate. I don't know that anybody wants or expects to see another presidential debate after the VP debate. And there's only a month in between the VP debate and Election Day. So I think this is the only debate, period. Right now, Kamala Harris leads nationally by 1.1. Now, it's important to acknowledge, I'm just the messenger. It seems people on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, they love kill the messenger. Like, I'm just telling you what's happening. And yet people get mad at me. The lead that Kamala Harris had built nationally has been roughly sliced in half in the last week. Harris was leading by 1.9 a week ago, and Harris is now leading by 1.1. Why is 1.1 a problem? Well, she's winning, right? I mean, what's the concern? The problem with leading by 1.1 is that it happens with some regularity that the Democratic candidate wins the popular vote and loses the Electoral College. This happened with Al Gore in the year 2000. This happened with Donald Trump in the year 2016. In fact, it's been 20 years. It's been 20 years. Wait, was it 2004? Hold on. Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing. 2004 popular vote results. I don't want to misinform. Yes. It's been 20 years since a Republican president won the popular vote in a general presidential election. Because often Democrats win the popular vote but lose electorally. So if you say, hey, look at 2016, Hillary won by 2 but lost it was the 2000 election? No, in the 2000 election, Bush lost the popular vote to Al Gore. In the 2004 election, Bush won the popular vote against John Kerry and won electorally. People, please don't give me wrong information in the chat. The point here is Kamala Harris, in all likelihood, needs to win by more than 1 or even 2 to win the Electoral College. That's the point that I'm kind of getting to here. On the other hand, Donald Trump, just by flipping a couple of states, can win this thing, even while losing the popular vote by 2, 3, 4, even 5 points. Let me, in fact, run up a couple scenarios for you here. Let's pull up 270towin.com. I'm glad we have the time to do this before the debate starts. So if we set our map here as 2020, okay, and you see Democrats 303, Republicans 235, the critical states for Trump are Pennsylvania, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, and to some degree, Wisconsin seems like Wisconsin or Michigan it could be. If Trump flips Pennsylvania and Georgia, he wins. Okay. That's with Harris still holding Wisconsin and Michigan and Nevada and Arizona. If we go back to the scenario from 2020, if Trump can get Nevada and Arizona plus one of these northern states, it would not quite be enough. But in this scenario, New Hampshire all of a sudden does matter. And there's a lot of controversy around New Hampshire here. So needless to say, we're not going to go through every scenario. Let me reset this back to the 2020 map. But the point here is, although this is a great starting map for Kamala Harris, because this is what Biden won in 2020, it is still completely plausible that Donald Trump ends up winning this thing. So a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about, numerous different paths that both candidates have. And tonight's debate, which is what we're building to, I believe provides an asymmetrical risk to both candidates. If the candidates perform well, if they both perform fine, it doesn't really affect this election. So the upside risk, if you do everything you can to perform well, but so does your opponent, doesn't really change the dynamics of the race very much. On the other hand, if either candidate bombs, they do risk significantly hampering their chances at winning this thing. So that's why it's an asymmetrical risk, the downside risk significantly higher than the upside risk. Now, here you can see Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He's at the debate. I don't know if we can see what he is saying on any other one of these feeds. If anybody knows what feed might be carrying some of these interviews, I would love to pick that up. I've told the story before. I only know RFK Jr. a little bit, but he did one of the strangest things culinarily that I've ever seen anybody do. I went to dinner with a small group and RFK Jr. in Vegas a long time ago, a few years ago, and he ate a baked potato with his hands, like a dipper. He took the entire, like a baked russet potato, full size, son of a gun, and he was dipping the thing in ranch dressing and a variety of condiments and sauces. I had never seen anyone eat a baked potato with their hands, and it was just kind of an unusual thing. Did he eat the skin of the potato? He did. He did eat the skin of the potato. So that was an interesting dinner. He was double dipping. Well, he actually ordered a ranch dressing just for himself. And so there wasn't really any concern about double dipping. All right, other super chats coming in. Wendy from ZAR. Is that Zimbabwe? I'm not sure where that's from. Prediction: Kamala Harris will speak so much reality information, Trump in his dementia will not be able to comprehend what she's saying. Trump will keep repeating his old lies. Go Kamala Harris, go. Yeah, I mean, so here's my expectation. I expect that by the standards that a sane, rational person would judge a debate, Kamala Harris is going to win this thing. But I am very much prepared for it not to be the floor wiping that we would all hope it to be. I think Kamala Harris will be understandably nervous, and I think Trump will not perform as poorly as maybe we would like to see. And so I think that in the aftermath of the entire thing, it'll be a win for Kamala, but not one that convinces Trump's base. That's my best guess at this point in time. Jay-Z Gamer asks whether there will be fact-checking. There will be no live fact-checking, but I do plan to deliver a full review video of the debate by 11 p.m. Eastern time. That's my plan as of right now, and we will see if it's something that I'm able to deliver on. Okay. What else did I have that I wanted to address as far as all of this goes? October 1st debate, Tim Walz versus J.D. Vance, probably the most anticipated vice presidential debate that I can remember. And I will certainly be watching. I think it'll be very interesting. And, I guess I should mention, I do want to say thanks to Jason Sickmeyer, Jeremy Hinkle, and Stanley Minerick for signing up on my website. We are launching a today-only membership coupon code. It is Mute Trump. There was a lot of controversy as to whether the microphones would or wouldn't be muted tonight when the other candidate is speaking. Ultimately, I believe they landed on the microphones will be muted. Tonight's coupon code, which saves you 50% off of the cost of a membership, is not just about Mute Trump tonight. I actually would rather his mic be unmuted tonight. It's about Mute Trump forever, as in end his political career by defeating him in November. Okay? So you can go to my website, and this, by the way, there's no Russian money here, okay? There's no $100,000 a week Tim Pool money or Dave Rubin's or anything like that. We're funded directly by you. So I invite you to go to my website. This is the best way to support us, joinpacman.com. You can use the coupon code Mute Trump, and we mean mute the guy forever politically. And I'll shout out everybody who signs up if it's plausible. Okay, other super chats coming in. Madden says, David, we're having a discussion about this in my college course. Do you have any advice how I should explain? Keep fighting the good fight. A discussion about what? What's this? I don't even know. Michael says, Kennedys like to eat spuds barehanded. Thought that was common knowledge. Looking forward to your next chat with Stephen Kenneth Destiny Bennell II. So am I. Dave says, remember, Hillary Clinton won her debate in 2016 and still lost the election. Whether Kamala wins or loses, don't be complacent and vote blue. Well said. Joe says, hey, David, thanks for the great videos and commentary. Would you interview Louis Rossman of the Right to Repair movement or Stephen E. Parton from Curious Apes? You know, probably not. Those interviews sound like they would bomb. And I'm familiar with Louis. I think he does some interesting content. We're really trying to do interviews that will do well on the show. And some of these interviews, as interesting as they are to me personally, they will bomb. And we're trying to avoid that. T says it would be great if Kamala constantly calls out the repetitive talking points where Trump doesn't answer. Yeah, Chris Christie did a really good job of this in 2016 when Marco Rubio would glitch like a robot and deliver the exact same line over and over again. We have to dispel this notion that you remember that we have to dispel this notion line from Marco Rubio? And Chris Christie did a really good job of saying he's like a robot on repeat. It's the only line he's got. I think it would be great for Kamala Harris to say, do the American people realize that he doesn't even understand the questions and he's repeating the only lie he can remember over and over again? That's all he has. He is turning to mush before your very eyes. And that might be a little crass or uncouth, but some version of that. I do want to say thank you to the first person ever to use our new coupon code Mute Trump. I am about to butcher a pronunciation here. I'm going to give you my best shot. I want to say a big thank you to Athathan Yoga Manoharan. Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. But you were member number 13 today and the first to use the coupon code Mute Trump rather. Also, big thank you to Gradient Echo. Great to see you over on Twitter. Yeah, I see. Here's what I just sounded like. Hold on. Do I have it here? Oh, I have to be able to pull it up faster. Hold on. Oh, do I not have it? Where is Trump pronouncing names? Here we go.
Swami Vivekananda, Sachin Tendulkar, Virat Kohli.
Yeah. Athathan Yoga Manoharan. I'm doing the best I can with it. I'm doing absolutely the best I can with it. All right. Other super chats that are coming in here. I just missed a bunch. Canada for Kamala, says Stephen. I will be in Canada so soon. In just a few days, I'm going to Canada. It's going to be beautiful. Harris needs to... Okay, now there's kids watching. Hold on. Thank you, David, says Still Debut. David, when is Q coming back? Yeah, you don't hear much about QAnon anymore. Harris should hit him hard on the issue of childcare costs. He recently failed to give any answer on his issue. Yeah, I hope, listen, I don't pretend to know what the right debate strategy is for the average voter. So I'm about to present this to you with I'm not a political consultant. I don't take Russian money. You know, I might not be what you want me to be. If you're looking for that sort of thing, there's other YouTube channels where you can get it. Many of them. Some of them have been shut down, but you can still get it on some. But I would find it absolutely historic if Kamala Harris were to say, you know, Donald, that answer made about as much sense as when you were asked how to reduce childcare costs, and you looked visibly confused and spit out Ivanka's name with absolutely no connection whatsoever to the question that was asked. If you think Donald is confused when he does these public events, you should see how confused he is in the Oval Office when the big decisions have to be made. Yeah, something along those lines. I would love that. I don't know if that would do much for the average voter, but I would absolutely, absolutely love it. Okay, other super chats here. Let's see. David, will Trump use a slur during the debate? You know, it's very funny that you mentioned that. There is reporting that Trump's advisors are horrified that he will make either racist or sexist comments about Kamala Harris. And they should be horrified because he very much might. He very much might. I want to say thank you to Luis Garcia, Robin Sutton, Lisa Morgan, Sebastian Temple, Kyle Ryan, Daryl Downham, and Patrick Carrier. 7 new members on the website using the coupon code Mute Trump. Mute Trump. That is the coupon code for today. Other super chats. Bay Photo says perhaps the polls tightened because Labor Day passed and non-political folks are starting to tune in. Either way, vote, vote, vote. Yes. Much speculation as to why they have tightened, but that is certainly a possibility. Ryan says this is the first time I've ever had the feeling of needing to vote and that every vote will count. It's just a damn shame my county in Texas is doing everything it possibly can to not let me register. Sorry to hear that, Ryan. Very sorry to hear that. Let's see if our official ABC coverage is starting. Should be starting any moment here. Tavon says, first, love the channel. Keep doing your thing. Question. I think everyone is... hold on. Sometimes they glitch. Everyone is expecting or hoping for blunders from both sides. What are you thinking can be a big blunder for each candidate? I think the type of blunder Kamala Harris is most likely to make is to have one of these kind of bumbling and stumbling moments that feels Biden-esque, which sometimes she has, where she sort of loses her train of thought, not because of any cognitive or speech issue. I think she just gets nervous. That's what I think. With Trump, it's that he completely strokes, glitches out, has another one of these things where he's asked a question and he just mentions his kids' names. It doesn't have anything to do with anything, that he is made to look really unprepared by Kamala Harris. I think that's really the risk for Trump. But for Kamala, I would put it as the word salad risk. For Trump, I would look at the murdering the English language risk. It's kind of where I'm at with it. I want to say thanks to Armony Williams, C.S. Allison Barnhill, Nana Willie. So great to see Nana here. Carlos Soto Gill, and Mart Fillion. Thank you so much to the 7 of you for signing up on my website. I really appreciate that. If you're just joining us, we are still 1 hour from the start of this debate. The debate will be at the top of the hour. We have an hour to go. Many people have been asking, David, will you stream the entire debate or not? Up until a half hour ago, my plan was to stream the entire debate. I then spoke to, everybody that I'm in touch with. I spoke to Brian Tyler Cohen. I spoke to Tyler Bryan. I spoke to Tyler Bryan Cohen. I spoke to, I spoke to Cenk. I spoke to Ben Meiselas from Midas Touch and Sam Cedar, Luke Beasley, and ABC has made it clear that they are going to come down so hard on us that I don't believe it's worth the risk of trying to stream this thing. Now, I know people are going to say, oh, David, but Patrick Bet David's going to do it, and he got away with it, and Hassan got away with it last time. I know people got away with it. We now have almost 2.5 million subscribers. Okay, let me actually, how many do we have? Let's see. I think I have it up here. We now have 2.489 million subscribers, close to 2.5. The risk just feels too great. There's a ton, all of these YouTube channels, Washington Post, all these YouTube channels are going to be covering this nonsense. So you'll be able to watch it. And then I am going to come right back with a full breakdown of what happened in the debate right after. My hope is to have it published sometime between 10:45 and 11 p.m. Eastern time. That's my plan. And I understand people are upset, people are furious, but David, what about this? What about that? It's just the call that we made. Okay. Other super chats coming in. Have you considered a new supercut of Trump glitches? There's a lot of new material. Yeah, it'll be out soon. Producer Pat is putting the finishing touches on it. Jody says, I made a carrot top chimichurri today. Do you have a favorite recipe? I really don't, Jody. I really don't. It's not something I've devoted a ton of time to, making chimichurri. I usually just buy it, if I'm honest with you. Dalbert says, hey, David, the Democratic Party is now roughly what the Republican Party was 3 decades ago, and the Republican Party is a lost cause. How do we feel about the gradual shifting to the right in America, where there's been 2 shifts? Yes, our elected officials have shifted to the right, but the country has actually shifted to the left on just about every issue. And I actually have an entire chapter in my forthcoming book, The Echo Machine, about this. Let me, by the way, tell you that you can now pre-order my book. Let me just tell you where we're at. We are at 1,647 pre-orders. Okay? My publisher has told me they believe if we can get 2,500 pre-orders, we probably make the New York Times bestseller list for nonfiction. And if we can get to 5,000, then we absolutely will make the New York Times bestseller list. There are those who believe that unless you have the backing of corporate media or Russian influencer cash, that you can't have a New York Times best-selling book in the political nonfiction space. I believe we are going to prove them wrong. So I would love for you to pre-order this book. If you don't want to read, you can get the audiobook. They're all available right now. Okay? davidpakman.com/echo, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, bookshop.org, Audible, Apple audiobooks. I don't even know what these platforms are called. And I will also mention, you can call any local bookstore you want, and they will be able to pre-order for you. Okay? So every pre-order comes with a free signed book plate. I'll tell you how to take advantage of that when it's time. And please send your pre-order screenshots to info@davidpakman.com. I think we can do this thing. All right. We are 55 minutes from the start of this debate. And we have summed up where the polls are as of today. We have looked at the opinions of many in the audience as to what they expect to see happen here. We have looked at so many different things. Let me see if I have any voicemails about the debate.
Hey, David, I have a really quick question. Do you think Trump will be worse or better than his performance in the debate with Biden?
I predict tonight's performance will be worse by Trump than Trump's performance on June 27th. Trump's performance tonight will be worse than his own performance on June 27th. That's my prediction. Okay. Other super chats. ZAR is the South African rand. All right. Good to know. My 7-year-old niece, Ryoku, got your book and loves it. Do you shop at Muji? How did you like Hood River last summer? Chris and Alex Portland. I don't know what Muji is. I did not end up making it to Hood River last summer. I did not have the pleasure, unfortunately. Grow Up Johnny says, I think a great start to one of VP Harris's turns would be to look over at Trump and say, what the hell did you just say? I would like to see that. Any particular YouTube channel you suggest watching the full live stream of the debate? I mean, listen, I'm a go to the primary source guy, so I'm going to watch it on ABC. That's my plan. Could you have a segment or interview covering modern polling and how they are trying to adapt to the modern political scene? You know, I've covered that in a lot of segments, but I'll consider a standalone segment. And big thank you to Mike Klum, who just gifted 10 subscriptions on YouTube. I appreciate that. I also want to say thanks. Folks, I'm not even able to thank everybody who just got a membership because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 people just got new memberships. Puts us at 56. Remember that today's new coupon code is Mute Trump. This is it. Mute the guy politically forever. Not just mute his mic tonight, but mute him and that's it. Phil says, hey, cool guy, thanks for keeping me informed. Thanks, Phil. Donna says, I really hope she says at some point, I have no idea what you just said. And I think you don't have any idea what you're talking about either. Yeah, some of you might remember that during the last debate, there was a moment where Donald Trump said, after Joe Biden said that he beat Medicare, Trump said something like, I don't know what he just said, and I don't think he knows what he just said. I would love it for Kamala Harris to adapt that and say the exact same thing tonight. Let's take a listen to ABC News' coverage here in advance of the debate.
Or will she stick to the issues?
Well, look, she certainly has made clear out on the trail that she is not shying away from prosecuting the case against Trump. It's a central part of her biography as she reintroduces herself to voters here. But really, her focus tonight is on seizing this moment, likely the largest audience she has so far, to make her case and make clear the split screen with Trump.
And, Rachel, January 6th, which we'll probably hear something about here, January 6th is actually something that Donald Trump doesn't want to run away from. He once told me it was one of the proudest moments of his presidency.
He's really embraced it. I think a lot of Republicans after January 6th were hoping that he would create some distance between himself and that date. But since then, the former president has called those who stormed the Capitol rioters. He has vowed to pardon them.
Patriots.
And I call them patriots, excuse me. I had an opportunity to ask the former president about that recently. Take a look. My question is on those rioters who assaulted officers.
You have to
would you pardon
what's
those
going to
people?
happen? Oh, absolutely, I would.
You would pardon those?
If they're innocent, I would pardon them.
They've been convicted.
And by the way, the Supreme Court just well, they were convicted by a very tough system.
Yeah, so to be clear there, the former president calls them patriots. He stands by his pledge to pardon.
Yeah. Here's a funny comment that we just got from Gavin Newsom, who was in the debate spin room. I kind of like this.
For the future, both and, because she's the fresh air of progress. She's new. She's the next generation. He's old. He's stale. He's derivative. He's, dare I say, boring. He's one of the most, I mean, have you watched some of his speeches? I mean, literally, he was interesting. I'll say it. It's hard for me to admit. I'm from the most un-Trump state in America. There was some entertainment value with Donald Trump 5-6 years ago. I mean, you watch that monotone speech and the economic speech, some of these rallies. So he's lost his step. He really has, and I find him profoundly boring and boorish and derivative of himself. And so I think he's got a challenge tonight. That said, I'll give a counter argument. He has more options because of the unplayed by rules. Same rules you and I do. I mean, all of us, maybe one exception for the future.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I mean, it is true that there's a way in which Trump used to be entertaining, which he no longer is. It used to be merely scary, but he was entertaining. Now he's scary and boring. So it's gotten a lot worse. It's certainly gotten much worse. Other super chats coming in. Did I watch the recent real-time episode? I did not, but I heard that H.R. McMaster did really well. Gregorio says, what's my opinion on Argentinian President Milei? I think he's out of his mind. Do I have any information about the big leak on Trump's campaigning that went to Politico? I don't know which leak you mean. Do you mean the he's pulling out of New Hampshire leak, or I'm not sure which one you mean. Will Trump go down the misogyny/racism route? I think he might. I think that if my expectation is that Kamala Harris is prepared to really trigger Trump on purpose. And I think it might get him to go misogynistic and racist, which I don't think will be good for the guy. Call me crazy. I don't think that will be a good thing for Trump. Let's listen to a couple other voicemails coming in.
Kamala Harris's best bet tonight would be to adopt a Betty Davis tone and look at Trump and go, "You'll never eat lunch in this town again. You're yesterday's news."
That's an interesting idea. Definitely an interesting idea.
Hey, David. This is Craig from Chicago. Regarding the debate, just wondering if you can think of, I know the sort of conventional wisdom is that debates don't necessarily have a huge impact on the decisions that voters might make. Can you think of any examples? I mean, the ones that come to mind for me are that Gerald Ford moment. And
well, listen, the prototypical example of the debate that made a difference was Kennedy-Nixon, with Kennedy coming out wearing makeup and kind of looking put together. And Nixon came out, I think he had the flu or fever, and he had 5 o'clock shadow, and he was sweating, visibly sweating, the way Trump sometimes does. So I think that one made a difference. But the conventional wisdom that debates don't matter, I don't think applies right now. I think that this is such an anticipated debate in an unprecedented situation that it's a completely different ballgame. So I believe tonight's debate very much could matter and make a difference. Austin says, I just pre-ordered your book. Thank you very much. My book, The Echo Machine, forthcoming very powerfully, now available everywhere for pre-order. David, thanks, says Joni. Pray that insanity does not prevail. Is the campaign more worried about leaks or dumps? I would be worried about both if I were them. I'd be worried about both. Thrax, David, whatever happened to Jimmy from Philly? No idea. Hope he's okay. Digital Grandson, do you think Harris will try to hammer Trump on Project 25 or 2025 or his abortion stances? I think Project 2025 is complex for Harris to attack Trump on in a debate format because Trump's already denied any connection and he'll just do it again. Abortion, I think, is better for Harris to go after Trump on, both because she can expose his flip-flops and his bragging about picking Supreme Court justices that got it overturned. So I think it's a much clearer path to attack Trump. That's my sense of it.
Howdy, sir. Xander here. Just got done with a day of campaigning, sitting down to watch your coverage of it before we switch over to the actual debate. I haven't seen a single Trump sign in the entire time that I've been out canvassing, and it's only been a couple of days so far. We just switched over from voter registration, but it's looking good in southern Ohio. I haven't seen a single Trump flag. Obviously anecdote, but...
All right. Interesting report there from southern Ohio. Mario says, what's Lewis been up to lately? A lot of magic cards, heavy metal music, and magic cards and heavy metal music, I think, are the big things. Why do conservatives constantly think about trans people when they make up like 1% of Americans? I have no idea. They seem obsessed. They seem obsessed with how people pee. They seem obsessed. I mean, they're obsessed with very strange topics. Very, very strange topics. Bay Photo says, Echo Machine, the greatest book never read yet, sir. Exactly right. Exactly right. Other voicemails about the debate.
Kamala needs to mention, I think at the start of the debate when they shake hands or whatever, just like maybe even to his face that Trump has small hands. Because what I see happening is Trump's going to mention that multiple times during the debate, and he's going to blow up on it. And if this does happen, what would end up happening as a result, if Kamala does it right, is just tease him about it in her responses while not directly really engaging with it to bait him. And it would just keep going on, possibly for the whole night. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, all of these I find to be absolutely hilarious ideas. If Kamala Harris comes out for the handshake, shakes Trump's hand, and then kind of looks at it, and then later alludes to his hands being small. As someone who follows this, I would find it hilarious. I think it's too inside baseball. I don't think the average person who's going to watch the debate, yet doesn't follow this stuff closely up until now, I doubt they even know about the entire Trump's hands story. I just don't think so. How do I think Kamala will attack Trump? We kind of went over that already. I think there's a lot of possibilities. Harry says, hey, David, you've missed my super chat. Oh, let's see if I can find it somehow. David, mi novia que es americana ha hecho quedarme a ver el debate y me dice que te pregunte. Oh, okay. So this one's, it's my girlfriend's making me watch the debate. What's your favorite Spanish food? Now, I don't know why I would have a favorite Spanish food since I'm Argentinian. So I don't know if this is confusion between they speak Spanish in Argentina, but I'm not Spanish. So it's sort of like, what's my favorite French food? What's my favorite Italian food? But it's Spanish tortilla, in case anybody cares. TPG says to add to the last Ohio comment, in Kent, Ohio, I've seen more Harris Walls signs more than anything. Yeah, I don't know that the signs tell us that much, but it's interesting.
You remember when Trump used to get on Jed's case for being low energy? Yeah, it's pretty funny now.
Yeah. No, I think that would be another interesting thing for Kamala Harris to say. Something like, I'm spitballing here, right? Like, I want people to understand. If we were really thinking of using these as attack lines, we would be workshopping them and tweaking every single word. I'm just spitballing. But another interesting approach would be, listen, America, we survived 4 years of this man. And fortunately, President Biden and I were here to clean up the mess. But there's no energy left here. So low energy. He's barely audible. He seems confused and disoriented. We all know this is a bad idea. Let's thank whoever you pray to that we survived one term and not try it again. Something like that. You know, I would be workshopping and thinking. If these are bad ideas, this is why nobody pays me for this sort of advice. Big thank you to Jenny Cole, Michael Daniels, and Sean Quillen, who just signed up on my website. If you're just joining us, we have a brand new coupon code. It's above my head. It's Mute Trump. And it's not just about muting Trump tonight, which he will be, and I wish he wasn't. But it's about muting Trump's politics for good and ending his political career. So you can go to my website, joinpacman.com, use the coupon code Mute Trump, and I'll shout you out. Also, I would love it if you're watching on YouTube. We could get to 2.5 million tonight. Okay. We have a gap here of only 10,763, I think. We could get to 2.5 million right now. It costs nothing other than a good time. So consider whether you might subscribe to this YouTube channel. I think it would be a great thing. All right, let's listen to a little bit of ABC's coverage here. We'll get to more super chats, voicemails, etc.
Donald Trump has been slamming Democrats and Kamala Harris over the issue of violent crime, saying that it is way on the rise. What is the reality here?
John, here are the facts. Crime, particularly violent crime and gun violence, rose dramatically in Trump's final year in office. That increase continued in the first year of the Biden administration. But for the past 2 years, we've seen significant decreases, sometimes double-digit decreases in violent crime.
True.
Murder so far this year is down 17% in the nation's biggest cities. But no one's jumping for joy because gun violence is a chronic epidemic in this nation. And they're always flashing symbols that are painful reminders. And in just the past 7 days alone, we had a 14-year-old boy walk into a Georgia high school and allegedly kill 2 classmates and 2 teachers using an assault rifle. As we speak, there's a desperate manhunt in Kentucky to find the sniper who was shooting at people driving along a busy highway. These are all impacts on the way people actually feel, John.
All right. Harris Faulkner on Fox News, she's very worried. She's very worried the debate might be biased against Trump tonight.
I don't believe that Kamala Harris is coming ready to play. She's relying on the media to support her, and certainly with ABC giving 100% positive coverage for her, 98% to negative to Donald Trump, we already know what the table looks like.
Yeah, I think we learned it, too, at that, interview where he was with the black journalists in Chicago, and ABC News had the first question on that one, and it didn't even acknowledge that he had survived an assassination attempt not too long before.
Right.
So, I mean, I think we know a little bit of what we potentially could get, but let's be positive and hope that
Right. Everybody be very careful. If it appears as though Trump fails tonight because his brain isn't working, all it is that ABC is biased. Okay, so keep that in mind. Trent asks, any uncharged pickles or Subway tonight? You know, because of, in honor of Donald Trump's hopefully final political debate in his political career, I dined like Trump. I had chicken fingers with ketchup, and I got that crappy ketchup that has the added sugar, right? I mean, really, why? You can't half-ass it. You've got to go fully in. And French fries and a big Diet Coke. Diet Coke, please. Warm food. Yeah, no, I didn't really do that. I thought about it, but then I thought, that's really stupid. Why on earth would I do something so dumb? We support you, David, and we are here to support Kamala, says Joni. Well, thank you, Joni, very much. I appreciate that. I want to say a big thank you to Senator Larry Craig, Ann Satley, Gretchen Kilgus, Jody Bundrick, and Patrick Bender for signing up on my website. Really appreciate all of you. Puts us at 66. We're down to the last half hour or so until the start of this debate, and quite a debate it is going to be. Other voicemails coming in, people wanting to weigh in about what's going on. Let's see what we've got here. Some of these seem a little weird, but let's try it.
Hey, David, I was just wanting to reply to the viewer who was asking about the 1% of trans people and why conservatives are so concerned about them. It's because they're so concerned that a man would decide to cut off his penis. That's why. Because God gave them a penis in their mind, and why would they waste it and get rid of it? I'm pretty convinced that that's the reason. The other reason is that they're really afraid that a person who used to be a man might give them an erection. That's my take on it. All right. Love ya. Bye.
I think she might be right. I think there is something to that, for sure. Very, very much so. Wow.
Hi, David. My name's Christina. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I really enjoy your show. You kind of have a calming effect. I got to say, the last election with Trump is extremely triggering, and I enjoyed watching you. I just think that should be acknowledged. It's just stressful on all of us.
Yeah.
And also, interesting point I saw on the Hysteria podcast is Trump probably can't read because somebody of his age would need reading glasses, and I'm sure he doesn't want to wear them because he thinks that looks weak.
Yeah, you know, that's a very interesting thing. Trump, in private, I believe he does regularly wear reading glasses. And the fact that he refuses to in public, presumably because of the way that he doesn't like how he looks, he's probably unable to read unless it's extremely large print. And he has it far from his eyes. No, there's probably something to that. Jason says, just bought the book. It'll look great to Brian Tyler Cohen's. Thank you very much. Yeah, just a reminder, my book available for pre-order, davidpakman.com/echo. Free signed book plate for everyone who pre-orders. Please email your pre-order screenshots to info@davidpakman.com. Jamal Swift, my good friend Jamal Swift, great to see you. Jamal says, David, what's up, homie? It's been a long time. Just giving some support. Do you still go live often? If so, I never get notifications. I had to go to your channel to see if you were live. Well, yeah, I mean, I was live all 4 nights of the DNC. I'm live right now. Good to see you, Jamal. Always appreciate it. Spotted Quill says, David, do you think Trump and Kamala will shake hands? If I remember correctly, Trump and Biden did not. I hope that they do, but my bet is no handshake. David, I had a YouTube membership for a year. What's their point of YouTube membership when you don't post the bonus show on YouTube, even for members? Yeah, that functionality, after YouTube told us it would work, doesn't work. And then we also can't change the description of a YouTube membership. It's really a catch-22. And I apologize. Even though it's not my fault, I'm just apologizing anyway. Why not? Tyler says, Greater Cincinnati area. has a ton of Trump signs. More importantly, there's a judge running in the area with the last name Jizz. That makes me laugh. Sounds like things are wild in Cincinnati. David, have you seen the kid on YouTube that smokes cigarettes and day drinks in a park and looks like a bizarro you? It's hilarious. I have not seen that. Thanks for your work, David, says Christy. Gasman says, cheers from Ohio, unfortunately the home of the donut expert J.P. Mandel. Hold on.
We've endorsed JP, right? J.D. Mandel.
Very much so. Very, very much so. David, what did you have for dinner, soy boy? I had just liquid soy sauce. I had soy sauce for dinner. Thanks to PC Hippie for the Twitch Prime subscription. Also, thanks to Larry Grenadier and Deanna Singleton for signing up on my website. New members 68 and 69 today as we approach the last half hour before the start of the debate. The dude says, David, sir, do you think Walz would be better in the debate against Trump? He seems quick on his feet, and she scares me that she'll stubble up, although she made Biden look stupid in the debate. I do think that Tim Walz would probably be better against Trump than Kamala Harris because he seems like more of a natural. But I have faith that Kamala Harris has been properly prepared for this debate and that she's going to do well. So I'm not like scared of that. But, it is what it is. The presidential candidates debate and then the vice presidential candidates debate. That's the way it is. There's really no other way around it. It's just the way that it works. Can we get an Obama for those who celebrate? Asks Fargo. I think we can do it.
Obama.
I saw people asking about if that's real. It is very real. Check this out.
Your Second Amendment's going to be in trouble, big trouble. Remember that. O'Rourke voted against the border wall. Oh, that's a good thing to him. He voted against Kate's law, and he voted for Obama amnesty.
There you go. There you go. So that's where that came from. Really, really weird. It's an excellent clip. A really, really good clip. Did I miss any of these? Yeah, no, I got these. Wanted to make sure I got those. And thanks to Jennifer LaDuca for signing up on the website. The new code is Mute Trump. Okay, let's go through some practical questions. What do I think the effect on polling of tonight's debate will be? I think the most likely effect on polling is 0. I think both candidates will do well enough that they don't torpedo their chances, and that this will remain an election that comes down to a couple 100,000 votes in 3 to 5 states. I think that's the most likely scenario. Now, is it possible one of the two candidates really flops and then all of a sudden someone opens up a 5-point lead in the national polling? Yeah, it's possible. I don't think it's likely. And if I were a betting man, which I'm not, I would expect this to have almost no effect on polling. Did I watch the Argentina games? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Do I think Kamala's microphone will pick up on Trump's rambling? No. Also, how do you feel about the right thinking Trump will win regardless? Well, see, here's the thing. Trump is setting himself up to lose and claim it's fraud and be able to golf the rest of his life while still telling himself he won 3 presidential elections. He's setting it up to say, no, of course I won. Of course I won. Legio Del Marva says, I just pre-ordered the Echo machine. I can't wait. Thank you, Legio. My book, The Echo Machine, available for pre-order. We were at 1,647 pre-orders as of the start of the week. We're looking for 2,500. And it's likely that if we can get to 2,500, certainly 5,000, that the book will make the New York Times bestseller nonfiction list, which would be a pretty big deal. Pretty big deal. Mr. Chris says, please wish my wife, Kimberly, who still has maternal feeling for you, an early happy birthday. Well, Kimberly, happiest of happy birthdays. I hope it's a good one. Will there be a lie counter tonight? No, it would be. I was thinking of getting a lie counter and connecting it to a clicker, but I didn't want to give my thumb arthritis. That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich. I don't know what that's about. Kamala's under intense scrutiny. Any slip could be blown up. Trump, always a mess, but no one cares. Her CNN performance has me worried for tonight. That is the more conservative approach to tonight, which makes sense to me. I don't know that in the way it's perceived, she will, quote, mop the floor. I think she'll mostly tell the truth. Trump will mostly lie, sure. But, I think there are some ways in which there are verbal crutches Trump uses, which can make it seem to his base like it wasn't that bad. Let's look at one more Gavin Newsom clip. He's doing a bunch of interviews on the ground in Philadelphia before this debate.
He's thin-skinned. He's weakness masquerading as strength. And this is a fragile guy. He's a broken person. I mean, really is. And as a consequence of that, he's incredibly vulnerable to reverting to who he really is, which is someone that doesn't necessarily feel worthy and is trying to overcompensate. And I think that's easily exploited. He's easily manipulated, and he's easy and prone to get off message. And I think that's why I think she has the opportunity to be particularly effective tonight, because I don't think she's going to be timid. I don't think she's going to overdo it, but I think she will take that prosecutorial mindset. And I'll tell you what, Kamala Harris will show up tonight, not Kamala. I think this is also about dignity. It's also about respect.
That's another thing I saw other people asking about. Will Trump mispronounce Kamala's name during the debate? I think he'll avoid saying her name altogether if he can. That's my instinct. Happy debate night, sir. Thanks for the coverage. Great to see you. Are there signed and numbered copies of the Echo machine available, perhaps for a modest premium cost? There are not. And here's the thing. We've been going back and forth with the publisher. The average book only sells 300 copies. And if you're only going to sell 300 copies, you can kind of offer anything. Hell, if you're going to sell 300 copies, you could offer phone calls with every single person who buys the book. But one of the things that we are realizing as we are 6 months from the release and already have 1,600 orders is whatever we offer needs to be duplicatable. It's going to be bad enough signing thousands of book plates. And so we're trying to limit the number of different things. And listen, every pre-order gets a free signed book plate. That's what we're offering, plus some other goodies still to be determined. But we don't know. I don't know that we can do everything. I would love to do some limited number of these. But the other thing is the logistics of doing it and how much more we would need to charge. I don't even know that people would necessarily want to pay it. It's complicated. We're doing the best we can. Will podium height have an inverse relationship to polling for Kamala Harris? It's a lectern, I think you're talking about. Often people say podium, but they mean lectern. I actually don't know which Joe means necessarily. Prediction. Trump breaks the lies per minute record and it still goes unchecked. Behaves like he did in the last one. Kamala does fine, but no knockout punch. Yeah, I think that's a totally reasonable prediction. Completely reasonable prediction in every way. David, will you be fact-checking during the debate? No, I will not. Kamala has had momentum on her side. Expectations are way too high. Think we need to temp those down. Feel like we are just asking to be disappointed if we don't. Yeah, you have to hand it to the Trump team. They have been lowering expectations with all of these leaked stories about Trump campaign worried he'll go racist and sexist and all of this different stuff. If Trump doesn't fill his diaper, they'll say he was presidential and, did what he had to do or whatever.
Big, massive dumps.
Exactly. Dunce says, as an Ohioan myself who doesn't live in a college town, I promise it's been a red state for a while. Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown could easily lose his seat to self-hating Bernie Moreno if we don't all vote. Very true. Trump's nickname, Comrade Kamala, forces the brain to say her name correctly. I've noticed Trump and MAGA struggling to say it incorrectly lately. Kamala Harris. Yeah, I know. Where's everyone going? Bingo? Yeah, I think some folks are going to play bingo. Do you think MSNBC, ABC, oh no, etc. will attack Trump when Trump goes and tell his cult the debate was biased towards Kamala? Probably not. I mean, corporate media has been doing a disastrous job with all of this. Mark says, oh, the bonus show where you want to make money and anybody else who makes money who fund themselves is bad. Right. Hold on. Do I have that?
Oh, the bonus show where you want to make money, but everybody else that makes money to fund themselves is bad.
Right. David, is the Echo machine available for international pre-order? Will international orders still get a nifty bookplate and goodies if so? My understanding, now I really need people to know I am in no way handling any of these signed bookplates being delivered, shipped, any of it. My understanding is that if you order the book on a website where it will ship it to you internationally, then the bookplate will be delivered to you as well. So if you go on Amazon and you live in the Netherlands and you just say, here's my address, if Amazon will ship it there, then my understanding is you qualify for the signed bookplate. Okay. David, with Project 2025 directly targeting journalism, does that not align with the right and MAGA writ large? Have you considered the impact it would have on you and the David Pakman Show as a target? You know, every time I address this, people get mad and they say, David, you're not taking it seriously enough. I think that Trump would not go after the David Pakman Show because it would be seen as beneath him. Now, I know every time I say this, people write to me and they say, you know, David, the show's getting bigger and bigger. You're at almost 2.5 million subscribers, 100 million views on YouTube in the last 28 days, 110 million, something like that. Don't sell yourself short. And I get that. But I just don't think I'm going to be on Trump's radar. I think that and that doesn't mean what Trump wants to do isn't a concern. I just don't think I'm going to be on Trump's radar. And if that's naive, then I'm naive. A big thank you to everybody who's supporting over on Twitch, including Prowler and Blastfire and so many other people. Big thank you to David Simard, Janessa Welch, Maya Seaby, Senator Larry Craig, and Jasmine Torres, all of whom just grabbed memberships on my website. Folks, we don't take Russian influencer money, okay? If you were expecting to see Tim Pool bathing in Russian rubles or Dave Rubin smoking cigars wrapped in Russian cash, that's not what you're going to have here. We're just funded by you. So certainly, if you are just coming through here for the first time, I would love it for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. But if you want to grab a membership at joinpacman.com, I would love that as well. And you can use the coupon code MUTETRUMP. MUTETRUMP. Voicemails continue to come in.
Hi, David. I recently traveled to Europe, and they wouldn't stop making fun of the fact that American toilets have no more water. Do you think we'll ever be back on the world stage? Okay, that's safe.
Was the audio quality on that really bad to other people? But yeah, Trump's obsession with indoor plumbing. Scary, scary stuff. Scary stuff. Okay, shout out to the person quoting Resident Evil games. Dan says Biden's mostly superb handling of the Ukraine crisis must be put front and center tonight. The whole free world agrees, except Dave Rubin and Tim Pool. David, my understanding of a book plate is that it's a dining plate, which has the entire text of the book printed on it. Can you confirm? Exactly. That's what we mean by signed book plate. I think Harris, this is Junie. Junie says, I think Harris should mention that Trump is a civilly liable rapist because mainstream media doesn't mention that at all. I would love to see her mention Trump's liability for sexual assault. That'd be great. Complete global saturation, says Barron. You missed my super chat about the handshake, says Jennifer. Oh, I thought I saw it, Jennifer. Hold on. See if I can find it. I think he will approach her for a handshake in order to highlight their height difference. That is a smart comment from Jennifer. Trump will want the handshake this time because he'll look so much taller. You know, here's the thing. Oh no, Trump wears lifts, right? Kamala Harris height. She's 5'4". She wears a few inch heels. 5'6". Yeah, no, with Trump's lifts, that's true. That's a good point. That's a good point. That may happen. Will I be narrating the Echo Machine audiobook? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Average Short King says, no matter what happens tonight, vote. Our country's future depends on every vote, so please tell everyone to check their voter registration. Thanks for streaming, David. Yeah, you can go to vote.org and check your registration, register if you aren't registered, all of it. Critically important. Critically important. Big thank you to Susan Osana, who is the newest member on my website at joinpacman.com. Nick says, David, what do you think about Alan Lichtman's prediction that Kamala Harris will win? He has a good record, excluding the Bush v. Gore fiasco. Yeah, you know, we're 7 weeks away. I'm really struggling with the what about Nate Silver's prediction? What about Alan Lichtman? And he's so good, but what about this? What about that? At this point, we've just got to vote. We'll know the results 7 weeks from now. I don't know. There's no denying that his record is excellent. That's for sure. That's absolutely for sure. Other voicemails coming in about the debate to 219-2-David P.
And so it begins with the debate tonight. I just hope that this country doesn't embarrass itself. Damn it.
Right. Let's listen to what Tom Cotton has to say.
Trump that's going to focus on his issues.
John, I think you're going to see that Donald Trump, who's president for 4 years, who has a clear record. This campaign is unusual. We don't have a candidate running for office for the first time. The American people remember what it was like under President Trump. We had stable prices, rising wages, a secure border, and peaceful, stable relations around the world. Under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, we've had record high inflation. We've had a wide open border. We've had war breaking out everywhere. The American people are going to remember after tonight that times were good under Donald Trump, and they want another 4 years of President Trump back in the White House.
And we noticed he was spending a lot of time looking at the angles, studying the debate stage. He does know the television of this as well.
Well, he does, but I think the style and the debate stage and the lighting and all that is going to be secondary in the minds of most voters, especially those trying to make up their minds to what they hear from the two candidates about their record. People remember that with Donald Trump, they had good times. They had rising wages. They had stable prices. We had peace and stability. And with Kamala Harris, a dangerous San Francisco liberal, and Joe Biden in the White House, we've had none of that. So I think it's going to be a clear contrast between President Trump.
Man, Cotton is so disgusting. It's hard to even stomach him. Good morning, David. I'm not able to renew my membership because I no longer live in the U.S. Will foreign payment option be available in the future? I don't know what you're talking about. We have hundreds of members from other countries. Nobody's ever had an issue. Any credit or debit card works. It should not shock you that Fox is spewing absolutely insane lies right now, like Kamala supports giving sex change surgery to illegal immigrants. I hope that's a joke, but I'm afraid that it isn't. Thanks to TMB and Mushroom Wand, geez, dear God, for the Twitch subscriptions. I want to say a huge thank you to Paul with a $100 super chat, saying California Central Valley anesthesiologists here to support David and the good work he does. I appreciate that very much, Paul. Thank you. We always welcome the support of anesthesiologists. We're big in the radiology community, not so big among podiatrists. Dentists love the show, but we're really trying to make inroads with anesthesiologists, and I hope that we're able to do it. Let's see what else we have here. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response, At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Quote from Billy Madison, applicable. Right. David, what did you actually have for dinner? I had a beautiful roast chicken and a kale, beet, and orange salad. Orange segments. You remove the peel, you remove the seeds, you remove the pith, throw the pith right in the trash. And with hazelnuts as well. Forgot to mention hazelnuts as well. Great, great, great salad. Will this live stream be available as a regular YouTube video once it has ended? Or is this our only chance to watch the debate with your commentary? Well, not even that. ABC has made it clear they will drop the hammer copyright-wise on everybody who streams unauthorized. We are not authorized. So I will stream till the debate starts, and then I will put up a reaction video immediately after. Immediately after. David, we follow you because you speak the truth, says Eric. I appreciate that very, very much. Other super chats coming, or voicemails coming in.
David, if Kamala simply says, I want to thank my husband who's always been there by my side through the good and the bad, isn't that a mic drop moment?
This is very smart. It could be very interesting for Kamala Harris to allude to the fact that Melania is missing. She wants nothing to do with Trump, and she didn't even go to the debate with him. I think that would be a really great thing.
Hey, David. First, I want to say I appreciate you doing running commentary during debates when you live stream. And secondly, did they ever actually decide on the mute button, no mute button thing?
My understanding is that they will each be muted while it's the other candidate's turn. That's what I last read.
Hey, David, this is Miles from Arizona, though currently living in Georgia for graduate school in urban planning.
Right.
I was just wondering if Kamala Harris,
Okay, call back with the rest of the question. KB says, go get your COVID boosters, people. There's one for the new strains. Can I tell you a quick story about vaccines? Because I have upcoming travel and different things, I wanted to get my flu and COVID vaccines out of the way together. So on Friday, I reported to the pharmacy and got both at the same time in the same arm. Okay. And I had a brutal day and a half after that. I felt as poorly as I had since actually having COVID. But now I'm vaxxed. And yeah. So anyway, it's kind of an unremarkable story, I guess. But I popped a fever. And then everybody saluted as I was leaving the pharmacy and said, sir, you've been treated so unfairly. Great experience. Great experience, though. Yeah, no, this was the worst I felt after a vaccine. Really brutal, brutal stuff. Imagine Kamala makes a point to clean her hands after shaking Trump's. Yeah. Another Ohioan from the Cleveland-Akron area. Less signs in general since 2020. That's fewer signs, sir. Fewer signs. The one upside to getting both, you know what? I'm not even going to make any jokes because I don't want to be, I don't want to, forget about it. KB says, I decided to wait a week for the flu vaccine, David. Glad I did. Yeah. I want to be at full strength. I don't know if I mentioned, I'm going to D.C. next week for an event with President Joe Biden and Dr. Jill Biden, not a medical doctor. The White House is now acknowledging that I am Hispanic, and I've been invited to an event for Hispanic Heritage Month. For those of you who will be asking, the White House pays for absolutely nothing. I'm taking not a single dollar from the White House. They never pay for anything. I'm paying my own way to go down, and that's it. Okay, so it'll be interesting. I know that there's a few other creators I know who will be there. The only one I've been in touch with is Carlos Espina. And so I'm looking forward to seeing him down there and meeting some other people and all of that stuff. Okay. If Trump loses, there's at least a 50% chance Melania files for divorce the day after. I think they get divorced if Trump loses, but I don't think it's the day after. You know, this Pac-Man, he used to be Jewish, but he became Hispanic. Yeah, I can hear it now. What happened to from the standpoint of? Yeah, from the standpoint of medical. Big thank you to Maricela Baca and Judy Kettenhoffen, who just signed up on my website, joinpacman.com. We have a new coupon code. It is Mute Trump. Love people taking advantage of it. What's the motivation for supposed mainstream media sane washing Trump's lunacy? You'd have to ask them. I presume ratings. As a Toledo, Ohio nurse anesthetist, I can confirm the strong support for David in the anesthesia community. Yeah, and the connection is the podcast is a good alternative to propofol. That's why anesthesiologists are big on the show, from what I've read. Tim says, tell your biggest fan, my brother Billy, it's time for the coconut cream pie. Okay. Christian says, how's your espresso machine? I understand Pillow filed a class action lawsuit against all machines. Yeah.
Over 54 countries have now been taken by the machines.
Oh, man. David Pedantic Man. Okay. Do you believe Antifa will accept responsibility for Trump's biggest gaffe tonight? Also, I haven't heard any Obama's tonight. No, we had a few.
Obama.
I also hope that we hear something from Trump like this.
Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
Marin says, I skipped Marin's super chat. Calling out the absence of Melania is a terrible idea. The Trump team will come up with a bogus illness that would make Kamala look bad. No, I don't think anyone would fall for that. Melania didn't go to the first debate. She's been nowhere on the campaign trail. I just don't think that would happen. I don't think that would happen. Okay, we're caught up as far as the super chats are concerned. Let's see what other super chats we have here, or voicemails.
Hey, David, it's Rusty in Oklahoma. I just wanted to say that I listen to the podcast on my commute home every day, and I listen at 1.5 speed. So whenever you're doing a live stream, you're talking way too slow. And I was just going to ask if there's any way that you could, when you're doing a live stream, can you speak at 1.5 speed so that it'll sound more normal to me? Thank you very much.
Yeah, Rusty, let me look into that. Okay, I'm going to let you know about that soon, very, very soon.
Hi, David. Joanne from Canada. I was just wondering, I had this thought. When it comes to abortion in the debate, I would love to see Kamala say, Trump, if a woman decides to get pregnant and have an abortion, shouldn't the man that got her pregnant have to get a vasectomy? Just wondering.
It's a very interesting idea.
Sir, please explain. How could anyone listen to Trump for more than 5 seconds and think, yep, this is my guy? How, sir? Tears in my eyes tonight, but thank you for the live stream.
Very good. Very, very good. All right, everybody. 5 minutes left until the debate. I will shut down my stream now so everybody can find their preferred channel to watch. I will do some live tweeting. And please come back for my analysis by 11 p.m. Eastern, hopefully by 10:45 Eastern. I will have a video up reacting with the top moments. Pre-order the book, The Echo Machine, and we'll see everybody in about an hour and a half. Thanks to S. Prez for the gifted subs, and we'll see everybody very soon.